Like I would just be honest. You have played them 2 years in a row. We have spent some time on Jokic. He's certainly part of the puzzle, a big part of the puzzle. What makes the Denver Nuggets puzzle so hard to solve?
I think, obviously it starts with Joker, obviously. But I don't think Jamal Murray gets enough credit. He's not a part of the, all NBA conversation discourse. Not a part of the I'm an all-star every year discourse. All that shit. And I think, people get caught up in just thinking it's just Joker. How do you stop Joker? And when it comes to nut crunching time, yes, Joker gonna make a lot of plays. It's that motherfucker Jamal Murray that will send you home, and I'm a victim of it. And he just makes plays. There's a sense of calmness when the ball is in his hand.
Fuck no, Tim. I ain't ever doing that again. I lost my ass doing that, bro. F that. Learn my lesson. Not without people in here.
Touch game to Joker where he can come off full speed. He has the ability to go back door. He's so shifty, the step backs, going right. It's not
Tim, you want to buy these optics?
Dictate which way. You know how you can see. Okay, this guy.
I just want to rip them.
This way. This guy shoots off the dribble, go this way. Well, he hit 2 game winners.
I'm not selling quarterbacks right now.
Step back going right. Other one was a step back going left. So what the fuck do you do? And yes, we could have played the last one a little bit better defensively, but that's a different story. And then to add on to those two guys, Michael Porter Jr. is a fucking laser. I don't know if it's just because he sees the Lakers or the gold or whatever. I feel like versus that motherfucker don't miss. He does not miss.
I called the one game where he literally did not miss. In
LA, he literally did not miss. He literally did not miss, and I was like, man, you can't even get. You know how they say, close the gap, get to his check. He doesn't even see you. He doesn't see you.
Dude, how crazy is this, Big Mike?
Guys, man, you got KCP out there.
I hit 3 or 4 with the Colts and with the Rams in a 50 boxer.
Make an impact on a game. And the same with Aaron Gordon. Aaron Gordon, if he has 2 points or if he has 20 points, his impact doesn't change. He's going to rebound. He's going to stay. He knows his role. He's going to be in the
Minnesota hit a lot, and a couple other teams ate, but every other break, dude. Anywhere. It doesn't matter where at. The Rams,
their coaching staff is pretty damn good.
You see probably 10.
And they go to their strengths. They avoid their weakness.
But when I get them,
Avoid their weakness. There's not many. See, the difference between great teams, good teams, and bad teams is to how many.
I hit that Peyton auto.
You go throughout the course of the game that meant absolutely nothing. Meaning, a great team won't go through too many games where they had.
Yeah, it's good. I mean,
terrible possessions where it was like what the
equals out about dome value.
A great team would never throw the ball.
I probably lost money on the cards, but
and we're gonna expect him to score if that's not what the fuck you do. A great team would
Tim hit a couple Orioles, I think.
If he's not a pick and roll player. That's where the great.
I looked at the other Richardsons. That's the field. Everyone was saying those are print lines. That dude was. He had me thinking they were. That's the field behind him. All the other Richardsons have these.
Lies. Denver, they know what they're.
Makes me feel better, Mike.
And it's not nobody on that floor that does something that they shouldn't be doing. And I think that's what ultimately makes a great team.
Doc Rivers always talks about basketball as a game of mistakes, right? And it is.
Yep.
Like there's not a.
It's going for like 75.
I get killed for saying this, but I'll stand by this. I don't think there's ever been a perfect.
This one's going for 25.
I don't know of a team that did not turn the ball over, did not miss a shot, did not lose a game. Like basketball is a game of mistakes. What you just said is, I think, really important, and it gets ratcheted up more.
TikTok, check out the shop. There's all kinds of stuff to rip.
Purpose to every possession.
Yeah.
That is having an intent to what we're trying to do on this possession. I think that's an important point. I'm glad you brought up Michael Porter Jr. because he has really, to me, embraced like the role that he has. And I've talked to him about it. And some of it is the guy has had insane injuries, the back surgeries, playing with drop foot, all that stuff.
Yep.
He's just grateful to play now. But I think he is the hardest player that is not like a primary scorer, right? He's the hardest player
I'll restart
to
it.
close out to.
Yeah.
The reason I say that, he's 6'10".
I got to give it a little bit.
On his jump shot. They always maintain elite spacing. So if you make a mistake in your help, or you make a mistake on the Jamal Murray, Nikola Jokic coverage in a pick and roll, and you have to react to that, you have to overhelp, you get beat by Jamal Murray, ball starts swinging, you can't close to him. He just is going to shoot over the top. And if for some reason you are there soon enough, he's gotten the
I'd have to be at 80 to make anything on these, man.
He really has. Whether he's getting
Maybe
to his
even
midi,
more, I don't know,
or he's
but
getting
it'd
all the way
probably
to the
be around
basket.
80.
Yeah.
Like, he's not a primary
What's
guy,
up, Kev?
but he's a star in his role. And as we see all the time in the playoffs, those guys become even more important in a series. Because the whole point of the playoffs, LeBron, you know this, the whole point of the playoffs is like, how do we make every single player uncomfortable? And it starts with the star players. How do we make the star
I
players
bought him off OfferUp because nobody had him. I called everywhere, bro.
Jamal hit 2 game winners on us, but you look at his numbers. We did a hell of a job on Jamal as far as making it tough on him. He shot maybe high 30s, maybe, I don't know the statistics, but maybe high 30s from the field in our series. And obviously, Joker's gonna do what he did. Michael Porter's the one who kicked our ass.
Oh, damn.
He kicked our ass. And you remember we were talking about like having luck to win a championship? Denver is a case.
I mean, you can still sell
There's no way
That's why I'm running
coming out of high school before the back surgery that Michael Porter would even be in Denver. This guy was a projected #1 pick in the draft. And because of the back, teams get alarmed and whatever the case may be because of that. And he slid in the draft, and he slid right to the perfect position, the perfect spot. They waited on him, didn't rush him, whatever the case may be. Then he got in, and then he was still a little injured, like you said, with the drop foot or whatever the case may be. But now he's in a perfect situation. He's in a perfect situation around 2 guys that you have to keep not only your eyes on him if you're guarding as a primary defender, but then another set of eyes. So there's going to be somebody on that floor that you're going to forget about. He makes you pay. Like you said, 6'10". He shoots at the top of his shot.
Mike, are you there?
His jump shot. His elbow is right in your face, too, so you can't close the gap because if you hit his elbow, there's 3 free throws.
32.
He's a big-time player.
I'm gonna draw
13 apiece.
But we talked about
Times
the singular
32
plays
teams is 416
I wanna talk
divided
about
by 5.
up 3. Whether or not to foul up 3, because we've seen this happen already multiple times, sometimes multiple times within a game, sometimes multiple times within a series.
Yep.
I don't know how every coach you've had has approached whether or not to foul up 3 at the end of the game on a defensive possession. But just kind of give me your overall thoughts on it. And I really do want to sort of break this down because I think it's going to come up again. It's going to come up again.
Yeah, and what are all the circumstances that's going on at this point? Okay, so you're up 3. Is it under 24 seconds left in the game? Do we have a timeout? What are some of the cases? I was watching the game last night. Obviously, New York up 3. Tyrese had just hit a 4-point play. They come back down. Josh Hart goes 1 for 2 from the free throw line, put him up 3. Philly's coming down, and I would have fouled. I would have fouled before Tyrese even crossed half court.
Okay.
I just do it, and it has to be on the downward dribble. If you're going to foul, you have to foul on the downward dribble. And it's hard. Sometimes a lot of guys are afraid to do it too. A lot of coaches are afraid to tell their team to foul when up 3 because either one, they haven't worked on it, or two, it is, with our rules and things, it gets tricky sometimes, and you send a guy to the free throw line, because you tried to foul him in the case. But I am fouling. I am fouling. It's just, guys are too great, man. Guys are too great.
I'm in agreement with you. I'm fouling up three every single time.
Every single time.
Every single time. Look, I think though, to your point, I about fouling Maxey on that particular play in the backcourt. I don't have it off the top of my head when he caught the ball.
Right.
But let's say when he's in the backcourt, he's somewhere between 10 and 12 seconds on the clock.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of coaches that I had that taught us to foul up three, it was always, you don't consider doing it until it's 6 to 8 seconds.
Like 6 to 8 seconds, exactly.
Right. Which I don't really know why we did that cutoff. Maybe we can get into that.
I don't think I have Chase Young right now, brother.
It would have been early. The other two factors that you always have to consider are do you have good free throw shooters? Do you have a good guy, like a guy you trust? You have multiple guys you can trust. Like when I played on the Clippers, man, like our end game offensive closing lineup was me, Jamal Crawford, and Chris Paul. There was one day we all shot 90%.
Yeah, exactly. Right? Exactly.
So we should foul up three. You talked about the downward dribble. This is what I wanted to draw up, because this relates directly to the play that happened, the first Middleton three in game three of Indy and Milwaukee. So Middleton had it out of bounds, right? Brook had it posting up Miles Turner right here, right? So Brook's trying to get open, and he kind of shoves Miles Turner, and he steps out. Now, this was a lob pass. So this is an important thing that I think was taught well to me, and I think is important in all of this. Half court, full court and half court are two different things. As that ball's in the air, so Brooks right there, like I was taught to run through the ball. Meaning just foul before the guy gets it. The ball's been released.
The ball's been released.
The ball's been released. So in that particular play, and they obviously were not fouling up three. He then gets the dribble handoff up here. Miles Turner hedges. It forces like a dribble around, right, away from the basket. So he had like 2 or 3 opportunities to foul. Clearly, Rick Carlisle's telling him not to foul, right? And Middleton makes a crazy shot. All of this is to say, and you said it already, these guys are too fucking good. Middleton's shot was ridiculous. Maxey pulled up from 37 feet or 38, whatever it was, 38 feet, inside the logo. Like, you can't afford to allow guys to get a clean shot in. If you go back to game 2 as well, I think it was game 2, the Dante DiVincenzo, Maxey getting fouled and losing the ball and all that stuff. The DiVincenzo hits a 3. They end up getting it back. They were up 3 again, and they elected not to foul. I think there were 6 seconds on the clock when they took it out. So clearly Tibbs, whether he made the adjustment or not, like certain coaches still believe you don't foul, and I think there's the camp that you foul every time.
Yeah, and you have to live with it. It's almost like if you're a blackjack player, if you're going to hit every time on a verse or 2 on 12, then do it every time. If it's a 2 showing and you got 12, if you hit all the time, just hit all the time. Don't be sitting at the table with me. You say, well, sometimes I hit, sometimes I don't. Well, no, I can't sit at this table with you. So I agree. We have coaches out there that say, we're going to guard. I trust my defense. We're going to guard. We're going to guard. I'm just not on that side. I'm on the side of, if we up 3, let's foul. Let's foul up 3. You got to trust the whole thing. Obviously, like you said, personnel is key. You got to have a trusted guy that you trust to inbound the ball after they make free throws. If you have a timeout, you should be good. Try to get the ball into your best free throw shooter. If not, call a timeout, advance it. If you don't have a timeout, get it to your best free throw shooter. These are things you work on in practice. Hey, if we up 3, no timeouts. We're going to foul. If they make 2, you take the ball out, expect a trap on the first one. Expect a trap. They're gonna try to trap you. Get the ball, boo, boo, boo. You do all that stuff. So like, it's all about preparation, man. It's about preparation. And like I said, I'm with you, JJ, when it comes to being up 3. I want to foul. I don't like seeing that ball up in the air while we watching the ball. Like, oh shit, this is going in. This shit is going in.
The feeling of victory was so fucking close. Now we got to go to
so
overtime.
close.
The timeout thing is also important, I think, in all of this. Where if a team's out of timeouts,
Yeah.
number one, if it's under 10 seconds, it should be automatically. If they're out of timeouts, let's say with 20 seconds, I think there's more wiggle room to fouling earlier. In this case, the maxi play, singular plays, fouling up 3 brings up a memory. Brings up a memory. 2009, we're down 2-1. We're up 12 at halftime against the Lakers in Game 4. We play our ass off. Have some turnover issues. Have some free throw issues. We're still up 5 with under a minute to go and the ball to tie the series. Some things happen. We miss some free throws. Kobe makes a ridiculous pass to Powell, who cuts down the lane and dunks it. 87-84. Go back to the free throw line. Anyways, it ends up they get the ball back with about 10 seconds to go in front of their bench. For some reason, I don't know why we doubled Kobe. He swung it to Trevor Ariza, who threw it across the court to Derek Fisher. And he just lined up a 3.
He just lined it up.
Up a 3.
He just lined it up.
Do you remember? I was trying to figure out today on Basketball Reference, and I couldn't find it. Do you remember what year it was? We were playing, I think it was in Cleveland. And Stan had just sort of implemented, we're going to foul up 3. And I think it was that year. It might have been the year before. And we're playing against you guys. And you catch the ball right here, half court. Like, not shooting range. And there's still time on the clock. And you read it right. We fouled and you went in your shooting motion. You got 3 free throws.
No,
and
I'm
trying to figure out, like, did that have something? Because we didn't say, as far as I can remember, and clearly by Cheers' defensive approach, we didn't say we're going to foul, right? Fuck, man. I'm not saying we would have won the series, by the way. I'm not saying that.
I mean, but listen, 2-2 is a hell of a lot better than 3-1. Listen, I know.
Speaking of Jamal Murray, Brunson, Maxey, these guys.
Yeah, man.
One thing that I love about all 3 of them, so they are considered point guards, right? They are considered point guards. So many times will just get off the ball, cut down, and then get, let's say this is Jamal because he does like to come to his left hand. They'll just get this little rub screen into a DHO, right? That action to me is so, like, practicing that action, doing it in games all season long, stuff like that, I think becomes even more valuable in the playoffs because you can't set the defense.
Can't set the defense, and you off the ball, and we all know that once the primary guy gets off the ball, what the defender does, just for one split second, he relaxes a little bit. So, when Maul and Reese and Jalen, they get off the ball, you relax just a little bit, and I'm flying underneath, and I'm getting a screen. In our case, it's Aaron Gordon setting the screen, so you kind of want to stay body on body. You don't want to switch that, because now Aaron Gordon's going to duck in a smaller guy into the paint. You don't want to switch that. With Tyrese, they swinging it to Embiid, and when he's handing the handoff, the guy that's guarding Embiid is so focused on Embiid maybe going one-on-one. When the drop-off happens, he's not in a position to help. So Tyrese is coming off naked. He's coming off getting to his 1, 2, 3, going left step back. He's coming off with so much force and so much speed. And those 3 guys, they come off with so much speed, and they keep your defense honored all the time. There's no false gas with them when they're in action.
The play with Maxey that I just think is so hard is their simple double drag. Mm-hmm. And they'll, a lot of times in this series at least, and again, we don't know the outcome of the series, but a lot of times in this series, they've used Jalen Brunson's man as the first screen. Whoever Jalen is guarding, right? He's the first screener in here.
Because they don't want him to switch it.
Right, exactly. And it just feels like with Maxey, you bring up the speed with Maxey in particular, the way he's able to turn this corner and then have this defender still so concerned with Joel.
Yeah.
This to me is one of the toughest actions to guard for the Philadelphia 76ers.
No,
it's a simple play.
Right.
It's just a double drag.
It is.
But it creates an advantage because of his speed and because Joel is there.
Yep, and that creates the whole ripple effect. That's what the offense is all dictated on. How can I create a trigger? Who can create a trigger on the floor to make this whole thing work? And like you're saying, where Reese coming at that, and they don't just do like a double drag where it's like guys are like stacked right behind each other. They spread it out a little bit. So you have the first screener here, and then they angle it a little bit, and then the next screener is kind of in the middle of the floor. They angle it a little bit. So when Tyrese is coming off, he's already running downhill. And because of his 3-point shooting, all three
this is
of
what you mean by the angle, right? The first screener's a little bit higher. They're spaced out.
Bit higher.
The second screener's a little bit lower.
Exactly.
And of course, as we've seen with Maxey, by the way, you go under. He shoots.
You go under. He shoots from there. Exactly. And the same with those other two guys, with Brunson and with Jamal. They will stop and pop. So, when you have a threat at that point guard position with that type of speed, you want the offense will work. That's the trigger. That's the trigger right there.
Specifically with Brunson, where do you think some of the adjustments have been in this series offensively for them to get him more space?
They got him off the ball a little bit more. Obviously he always ends up with the ball, but I think early in the clock they've gotten him off the ball and then allow him to get the ball after that. I've seen Dante bring the ball up a little bit more. Josh Hart can bring the ball up a lot more too, because he's not much of he shoots the three, but he's not much of a threat out there when he's handling the ball. So his defender is going to play off him a little bit. So it allows him to be able to go to DHO, dribble handoffs to Brunson with a live dribble. It allows him to hit either Hartstein, or Mitchell Robinson. They play that kind of like that touch game, and then they go set a pin down for Brunson coming to his left. So I think they've got Jalen Brunson off the ball a little bit more and allowed him to now get into his wiggle room. He's being guarded by bigger guys. I mean, Nicholas Batum is guarding him. Kelly Oubre is guarding him. Tobias Harris is guarding him. They're trying to put some length, around him. They're trying to contain him a little bit, but shit, he's still getting off because he's so crafty.
That's a big part of it to me, is having someone else just bring the ball up.
Yeah.
About those first couple games. And it's not that he didn't do it in games 3, 4, or 5.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Think about those first